When you take a shot in Valorant, it's not just one thing. It's a collection of reactions and movements that lead to you firing your gun at the target you've selected. First, you detect the threat. Your body tenses. Then muscle memory adjusts your aim while you click and fire the gun. But how do we actually get better at doing this? AimLab claims that it'll help you do this better, but is that true? Hello everyone, this is Prex, and today we'll be talking about AimLab. And we'll answer the question, does AimLab make you better? Seeing as I'm not a psychologist, I will be using research articles written by real psychologists. All my references can be found in the description, as well as just additional reading material that I use. And while you're down there, thoroughly investigating all of my sources, if you could like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Now, let's dig in. I'll be breaking down shooting into 3 key parts: detection, reaction, and muscle memory. First, does AimLab increase your detection speed? When I'm talking about detection, I'm talking about the exact moment when your brain registers the existence of a signal. In our case, detection is the moment you see a threat in your field of view. But Valorant isn't all signal, it's filled with noise. Footsteps, flashbangs, smokes, gunfire, even the minimap is noise. The more chaos there is, the slower our detection speed. When every millisecond counts, any slowdown could be life or death. When we're looking for something, when we're looking for a signal, we have 2 modes. I'll be calling them manual and auto, just to simplify it. Auto mode is happening constantly with everything. You don't need to actively register the existence of this sage, you hopefully recognize her immediately. If I said, find sage in this image, you'd see it without thinking. Manual mode is when you don't see something immediately and have to scan for it. It'd be like saying, find the sage in this image. You never want to be manually detecting anything. It should be obvious, but auto mode is significantly faster. But how do you improve auto mode? Well, you have to improve your pattern recognition. This can be done in a number of ways. One way is to realize that each site and each map has really a finite number of places you can expect someone to be. If you know all the locations, you know where to look. You won't be searching for them. Unfortunately, there's no real shortcut to improving this. You just have to do it. You could watch pro-level play, or VODs, or live streams. All of these would help you recognize these patterns, recognize where people are normally at. And if you want to use AimLab, they do have some trainings for different sites on different maps where they put gray blobs in the common location. These can really help you, but it's probably the hardest to train. It takes a lot of time, and the best way to do it is to just do it. Next, does AimLab decrease your reaction time? Psychologists often define 3 types of reaction time: simple, choice, and discriminatory. And in Valorant, we do use all 3. Simple is a single response for a single stimulus. This is what we usually mean when we talk about reaction time. This would be all of your reaction tests. Everything like that, that's simple reaction. Choice is when we have different stimuli that have different answers. This would be if you need to shoot your pistol or your rifle in certain circumstances. Finally, discriminatory is when we only need to react to some stimuli, but not react to others. This is also called go, no-go. This is best found in baseball, where they need to decide very quickly if they need to swing at a ball or not. So you might think, I can just hammer out these reaction time tests and I'll get better, because you can train your simple reaction time. Unfortunately, it's not so simple. Each reaction time is different. Training your simple reaction time doesn't really improve your choice or go, no-go. In fact, they found that baseball players, even at a professional level, don't have better simple reaction times, but their go, no-go reaction time is much faster. So how do you train them? Well, simple is the easiest. You just need one signal, one response. Luckily, AimLab has reaction shot. This trains your peripheral reaction speed as well as your central. This is great. Improving your peripheral reaction speed increases your central reaction speed. It's an overall good thing. It's what I recommend. Choice reaction has a decision shot. It's a simple trainer. You click on the red one, then you have to click on the red one. Click on the blue one, you then have to click on the blue one. It's straightforward. It's a great way to train your choice reaction speed. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find a go, no-go trainer. Though, if you wanted to create one, I have some ideas. A training where you have to react to someone jiggle peeking or full peeking and shoot at them would be a very good way to practice go, no-go. And maybe your reaction speed is not so good right now, but like I said, it's 100% trainable. In a study performed at Kyoto University, they found that training yourself to react to stimulus in your peripheral vision can have a major impact on your simple reaction time. In 3 weeks of daily practice, the subjects reduced their peripheral reaction time by about 10% and reduced their central reaction time by 5%. And further studies have shown that the other reaction types can be similarly trained. So in this area, AIMLab, A+ for how useful it is. 100% recommend it. Finally, training your muscle memory. And it's here that I think AIMLab really shines, because it's the same. Every single part of AIMLab trains your muscle memory. Even doing the simple reaction test that I talked about before is reinforcing the muscle memory of stimulus, click, which is exactly what you're doing in game. So as long as your sensitivity settings are correct, AIMLab will provide an accurate simulation, and that's key. Muscle memory wants things to be as similar as possible. Now, I do have 2 tricks up my sleeve for helping your improvement. Trick 1, take breaks. After each training, relax for about 30 seconds, clear your mind, and mentally run through the training you just performed in your head. Not the exact training necessarily, just think about it. And think about how you were moving your mouse and what you're reacting to. Maybe try to visualize it within Valorant. Recent studies have shown that our brain takes a shortcut when learning a new skill. After each time you use that skill and take a break, your brain will repeat the action you just performed in your mind about 20 times the speed. It speedruns the task, strengthening the connection of the neurons. So instead of just slamming 100 grid shots back to back, take them one at a time, really visualize it, take a break. Your brain can do so much for you if you let it. And trick 2 is visualization. When you are not playing Valorant, you're not in AIMLab, you're not doing anything, maybe you're riding on the car or riding on the bus, you have to visualize playing the game. You probably have some maps memorized more or less and can imagine them in your mind. So a visualization training might just be imagine yourself performing entry on a site. Check each location one after the other and try and do it as fast as possible. Maybe you select Haven A site, walk down corridor, look up ramp, look up, look right, look left, look behind the boxes, and all of that will help you improve. Believe it or not, just imagining it and imagining doing it will improve your muscle memory. It's less effective than actually doing it, but since you can do it way more times, it can have an effect. Honestly, that's it for the psychology, but I do have a couple last bits of advice. Advice number 1, turn off mouse acceleration. If you don't know how to do it, Google it. If you've been using it for a long time, it might take some time to get used to, but I promise it'll be worth it. Mouse acceleration alters the distance your mouse moves based on the speed you moved your mouse. This is not something that is easy to control, so if you restrict the number of variables affecting your mouse movement, you'll just be more accurate. And second, don't crouch immediately when you begin shooting. You should always be aiming at head height when you are walking around, so if you crouch immediately, it defeats the purpose, since you'll be shooting them in the chest. Not to mention, crouching is a high committal action and forces you to remain planted to the ground. You can't just move again. If you take a fight and realize that you don't want that fight, you can't not. You crouched, you're stuck. So stop crouching, and if you can't stop yourself from crouching, bind it to a different button. Just break that habit. Some pro players have their crouch completely unbound, and if they don't need it, you don't either. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll respond if I can.
Last player standing.